Hi, everybody. I'm Dekeem Lyles, and welcome to another episode of Casting Directors Say What, where each month I spotlight an amazing casting director in the industry, because a lot of what we do as casting directors is a little misunderstood. So I hope that this series can shine a light on all the wonderful, hardworking casting directors out there who really help bring other people's dreams to reality. Now, today we have another very amazing and special guest, a very good friend of mine. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lauren Charkow.
Hi, Lauren. I'm so happy to have you and see you. Tell us what type of things you cast.
Oh, well, I do a lot of commercial. I do a lot of real people, and I've done some indie films, some music videos, some doc series,
Yes,
documentary stuff.
documentaries. I love that you do that. That is so exciting. And tell us a little bit about how you got started in casting. You know, all our journeys sometimes are similar, but not. So I'm interested to hear your story.
Right. Well, I went to a BFA program for acting
Mhm.
and realized by the time it was over that that life was not for me. So then, yeah, casting seemed like this big dream. I had no idea how to get into it. And I just started casting anything I could, and
Mhm.
somewhat worked out.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, why casting? What about this side of the industry did you fall in love with after being in front of the camera, which I think is really important, a good place to start, because that gives you a basis for understanding what it's like to be in front of the camera so you can really relax the actors. So I think that's amazing that that's where you started. That's why you're such a good casting director. But why casting?
Right. Well, I had that knowledge of being an actor. I knew where the actors were looking for their jobs. So I could kind of figure it out. I didn't come up as an assistant, or I didn't have anyone kind of showing me how to do it at first.
You didn't intern or anything?
Well, I did kind of later after I had been casting for a little while. I
Oh,
interned on
wow.
some big films, just to learn kind of what that was like.
Mhm.
And I'll say, it's kind of harder doing the little films. Once you're at the big films, everyone wants to be in them, you got your pick.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, when I was younger, I had this photographic memory for faces. And
Wow.
I would just remember people from things. And I felt like I knew what they could do. And I also love to read, and I love to read books or scripts and imagine who I'm seeing this as.
Uh-huh. That's good. That's it. That's kind of like me too, where I just had that eye where I could recognize, not necessarily in the beginning knowing their name, but I'm like, oh, that's that guy from so and so. And
Right.
look, there he is again. And it's
Yes.
so funny starting to notice, like, you see these working actors, right?
Yes.
Like, they may not be getting the big spotlight shown on them, but look at them. Every time I turn around, they're in everything,
That's
you
right.
know? And you
Yeah.
gotta have an eye to spot those people like that, you know?
Yes.
Now, Lauren, the industry has changed a lot, right? In
Mm-hmm.
the past 3 years. What is your perspective on the current state of the casting industry? And what do you think actors should kind of understand going into it now?
Yeah, I mean, it's different. We're still mostly remote. We've been back in the studio a little bit, but not too much. I miss being in the studio, but self-tape life has a lot of advantages.
It
Um,
does, especially if you're a mom.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Although sometimes when you're a mom, you want to get out of your house.
You're in a scene.
I will say that. But no, I mean, it's tough. I want actors to know that, like, I know we're asking a lot of you. You have to be your own DP. You have to find a reader. You have to make space in your tiny New York City apartment for your screens and all this stuff. And you have to upload everything. Then you have to watch your own tapes, which I think that would be traumatizing for me. So but that's a reason I'm not an actor, is I don't like to watch myself on film. But yeah, I think, you know, just know that, like, it's different for us too, and we're all adjusting, and that I do watch your tapes.
Yeah, we watch all clips.
Mhm.
And also, too, I feel like all of us kind of have an understanding when we're asking for self-tape, sometimes at the last minute,
Mhm.
that everything from the actor's perspective is not going to work out perfectly in our minds the way we want it. But I kind of feel like actors need to understand that there is some give and leeway, because we do understand that we're asking you to do something in your own home and stuff, and maybe
Yeah.
not to freak out so much. Oh my God, they're seeing a little bit of my background. This is an awful self-tape. And I'm like, no, it's not. Trust me, we understand, right?
We get it. And sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I've been seeing this person for years and there's their apartment. That's cool.
Right? I didn't know they had a dog. Now, Lauren, like you said, you brought up the fact that we watch all tapes and you made a point to point that out, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of leads me to some misunderstandings that people who don't really understand, like the day and day to the details, what we do, and can sometimes drive us crazy. What's one misunderstanding about being a casting director that really sort of burst your bubble or drives you crazy?
Well, I mean, the big one is don't call me a casting agent, mom, casting director. No,
Right.
I guess, sometimes we're the face, people, especially if you're not booking jobs, you're not seeing all the people involved in the decision making, and we are that go-between person. So sometimes when people don't like something about a job, like, why aren't there more diverse roles in this? Or why is the wife 10 years younger than the husband all the time? Like, that's not our fault. Like,
Right.
I'm pushing against that stuff all the time. And that's important to me, to be a voice of pro-diversity in all, whether it's race, age, sexual orientation,
In all aspects, right?
disability. Yeah. I think sometimes because you're seeing the casting notice with our name on it, no, there's a lot that goes into that, and that we have to deal with a lot of people on the other side that are decision makers. It's not just us being like, I think that the wife should be 25 and the husband should be 45 or whatever. That's not coming from us.
Right. Like we're just following the direction of the person who has a production that they're trying to get up and developed. And we're helping them, find people for that. We can suggest, right? That might not be too good, or you might not get the people that you want with that type of phrasing, but it's ultimately their project that we're trying to bring to life. And we can't necessarily go in and start dictating what they need to do, So
yeah, it's true. And my point of view is I do push back against those things.
yeah.
It's not something the actors are seeing, but once the breakdown is settled, I don't want to waste the actors' time by calling in people that I know they're not going to book.
Right.
Because it is time consuming to put together these self-tapes or drag yourself to an audition.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I want to give a range of options, I have to balance that with my respect for the actor's time.
Yeah. I mean, casting directors, you got to understand about us. We're always rooting for the actor because it's in our benefit for every actor to come in and look amazing.
Yes.
We want you to look incredible. We want the best performance out of you. It's in our benefit. It's not in our benefit to have you come in and look bad. So if anybody's going to be your cheerleader, it's us, right?
Definitely.
Now, what do you think new actors should be doing now to get started in the industry? Like, what is a realistic advice that you could give somebody who's decided, I'm Dakeem. Hey, Lauren, I just woke up and I love movies and I want to be an actor, but I've never taken an acting class. I don't know where to even get started. Like, what's like maybe some things that you can be like, when you're getting started, maybe focus on this.
Right. Well, I will say, do take an acting class if you've never taken one. Acting seems so natural when people do it well that it doesn't seem like they're doing anything at all, but there is technique. And I would say the other thing, in the world we're living in, put some content out, put anything out there, put yourself talking to camera. When I Google you, I want to find a video of you or a recent picture of you. Be findable and be out there and be yourself. Because when I was in drama school, there was this idea that, and this was maybe more of a theater thing, but that you had to don't get a tattoo because then you can't play a character who doesn't have a tattoo, and don't, you have to be this very basic chameleon that can become anything, but isn't anything without the role. And I don't think that's true anymore. I think we want to see you bring your whole self to the role. So be your most self that you can and put it out there.
Yeah, I love the point that you made about creating your own stuff and visibility. Lauren, I talk about that all the time. I'm like, when you
Mhm.
guys get out of school, or even when you've been doing this for a while, people enter into this industry all the time. And you have to remember that in order for you to get jobs, we have to know that you exist.
Mhm.
Visibility is important. And you brought up a great fact, a great point. Creating your own work is a great
Mhm.
way to do that. So when somebody does reach out to you, it's
Mhm.
not just, hi, I'm Daikeem, consider me for work. Well, what do you
Right.
look like?
Yeah.
Can you act? You know, you can record stuff on your own when you're sitting around and there's nothing to do and you're playing the, oh, woe is me actor, there's no work coming my way. Create some stuff, record a monologue, right? So
Yeah.
then when I do reach out to you, it's not just, hi, Lauren, give me a job. It's, hey, here's my work.
Yeah.
If you like it, you know, I'm here, right?
Yeah, invite me to your show. I probably won't go, but I might, and I'm happy for the invitation.
Yeah. Now let's talk, you know, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to talk a little bit about networking, right? That it's so
Mhm.
hard and
So hard.
everybody has their own individual way that they like. Some people don't like to be contacted. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people are open, like I try to be open to a lot of people, but I get everybody's individuality, right?
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for actors when it comes to networking? Like, one, do you like to be contacted?
I
You
mean,
can be
don't
honest
call
with
me.
me.
Please don't call
Oh
me.
God, don't.
Um,
Don't call unless we said call.
yeah, don't call me.
I'm
But
going through that a
yeah,
little bit
it's
right
tough.
now.
It's so tough because I think as an actor, there's lulls, and there's lulls for us as casting directors too. So I get it. And you want to feel like you're being proactive and contacting your network.
Doing the
But
work.
sometimes it just I don't think it's super effective to just send out these mass emails sometimes. Even if you are like, hey, I booked a show or this or that, I'll be very honest. I I don't really look at them as much because I get so many of them. If it's from someone I already know that's a friend or something, sure. I'm not saying don't send them.
Right.
It does kind of enter my subconscious. I'm glad to see you're working. I'm glad to see your name pop up. But maybe, don't do it monthly. Have something to say if you're going to say it, and don't feel like you have to be doing it all the time because that's feels proactive. Because there's other ways to be proactive. Get new pictures taken, put some stuff up on your Insta, make a TikTok, get together, join a writing class or something, do something else. Uh, I think that's more worth your time.
I really love that, Lauren. Like, that's really a very important piece of information that you've just given that I hope people really take into consideration. What gets your attention when somebody emails you? Like, what type of things like stop you and like, okay, I'll look at this in the middle of my busy day of prepping and, because we do
Yeah.
get busy. That's why it's hard for us to stop. So, what are the type of things that will sort of make you stop a little bit? Not that everybody should go out and start doing this, because then it'll go back into the same, it's too many of this and now I'm just ignoring them. But
Yeah. Like I said, like invite me to your show, even if I don't go. I think that's really a cool thing to do. Offer me comp tickets to your
updates.
show.
Yeah.
Update. Show me if you're gonna send an email, have some images in it, have some links in it. So if I do open it up, I'm not just like, wait, who is this?
I
You
tell
know?
people that all the time. Like, I
Mhm.
just taught a class and I was like, trust me, I'm not going to remember what a lot of what you guys look like by next week. So if you do contact me, please just have a little photo as
Yeah.
a reminder. Because again, it's not that we purposely forget you, but Lauren, you could get off this call and get 50 emails, all with headshots in it. And then
Mhm.
tomorrow get 50 more and
Mhm.
50 more on Thursday and Friday. That is eventually going to turn into a fog, right? So you
Yeah.
gotta, and it's about the visibility that you brought up, right? Like,
Mhm.
understanding this is a visual medium and it's in your benefit to help the person who you're emailing and trying to get some attention out of,
Yeah,
right?
just give me a little thumbnail.
Yeah, that's all we need, a
That's all
thumbnail.
I need.
Now, Lauren, I would love to ask you a question. This is an extra question now because you're
Oh,
doing so great. What advice would you give upcoming casting directors? There's no
oh my
school, there's
gosh.
no way for us to study. Like if somebody's like, I love listening to casting directors talk, how do I get into this business? Because there's no college class I can take.
Yeah. Although I think I think Syracuse has a casting program.
Oh, thank goodness. Right.
Um,
After we're all done, right?
yeah.
Of course.
I do think about this because it's so different now. When I was coming up, I mean, there were so many spaces you could go into it, just be around casting directors and kind of say, hey, can I help out? Can I sign people into the audition? There were actually more entry-level jobs in casting when we were having more. I don't need as much help now.
Right.
With the self-tapes, I don't need someone to sign everyone in and make sure they're filling out the exhibit E's, or I don't need someone to stand outside the door and take everybody's picture. So it's tough. I feel for people trying to get into this business. But that being said, I'm sure there's ways that they're doing that I haven't even thought of. I would say reach out to casting directors and tell us you like our work and let us know that you're available if we need somebody to be a reader or to, I don't know, help us with our websites, because a lot of us are not very tech savvy, or something. Or just, hit us up, ask us for some advice, keep it specific, ask us for, if you know a casting director, take us out for coffee, talk to us about that. And the other thing, the way I got into it is find something to cast. It could be a little indie movie, it can be student films. That's how I got my start, doing NYU grad films, Columbia grad films. These are really serious up and coming directors with great scripts a lot of the time. And once you can get them to understand that they're not going to get celebrities in their student film,
Right.
you can have some really interesting talent. And then you'll have, you'll start having things to show. You might go to some film festivals, meet some more people. Those directors will call you up next time. So I think, yeah, get in there, I mean, it's tricky. You don't want to work for free you got to know your worth, but in the beginning of your career,
You got to make some compromises.
But then also know when it's time to say, no, you got to pay me.
Yeah. What, Lauren, you mean Meryl Streep doesn't want to do my student film? Come on now. Now, Lauren, here's another quick question. What is one thing about self-tape and virtual castings that you wish actors, you know what, not scratch that. This is a more important question. Given the option between 2 takes or 3 takes to submit, what is your preferred limit, especially if you're not specific? 2. 2, right? Yeah. Everybody, I'm the same way. If we didn't ask you to, if we only asked for more than 1 take, and you're submitting one because you really want to show us something different, just once is enough. Lauren, go ahead.
Oh, I would say one exception is maybe if it's like, if you're an amazing improviser and you're going to give me something completely different on all 3 takes, and then also send them as separate files so I can delete one.
Yeah. Good. All right, Lauren. So now here's just a fun question for you. Your last and final question. Okay. What was the last film, show, TV, theater, or performance that you saw that you really enjoyed?
Oh, I mean, it's all about Succession right now. I don't know when people are going to be watching this, but it's Succession, right? Succession is amazing. Everyone on Succession, but especially Kieran Culkin at this moment.
I love him so much. And also, didn't you go just see the new Mario Brothers movie?
I did see the new Mario Brothers movie with my son. Yeah.
How did everybody enjoy it?
Jack Black. I love Jack Black.
Did your son enjoy it?
Oh my gosh. Yes. He's obsessed. Awesome. He loves it.
Lauren, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you. You're so insightful. I hope you guys take in the information that this individual casting director is giving you, put it in your back pocket. When you run across her, now you can pull out this information and help your audition. Lauren, thank you so much. People look out for Lauren when she's posting things on Actors Access and Breakdown. If you're right for it, get it on her radar. And we'll see you next month for another episode of Casting Directors Say
What?
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Lauren.
Bye. Thanks, Akeem.